And let's talk about Billy Porter, who is sharing an update about his, thing with. There's two stories. So there's one where I saw that he's weeping at the strides in queer representation. So he spoke to Pink News ahead of his headline act at Brighton Pride, and we'll get to the James Baldwin thing after that. And they said that he has reflected on how the entertainment world has progressed since he entered the industry in the late 90s. Porter made history in 2019 by becoming the first Black gay actor to win an Emmy Award in the leading actor category for his role in Ryan Murphy's queer drama Pose. His Pose co-star Michaela J. Rodriguez became the first trans woman nominated in a major category 2 years later. But Porter isn't frustrated about queer actors only just starting to get award recognition. Last month, Baby Reindeer star Nava Mao became the first trans woman nominated in the limited or anthology series or movie category. Instead, he's embracing it. So he said, I'm 54. I came out in 1985. Nothing looked like this. Nothing you're seeing today was possible. The life queer people live today did not exist. The change has already happened. He insisted, be where we are. This is where we are. Be the first, then we keep moving forward. Yeah, because, a lot of times people become the first and then it's like they don't get as much attention. But it's like y'all crack the door open a little bit and then the next person behind you kicks it open and then ushers in the next generation of talent. He said, yeah, it could be better. Yeah, it could have happened sooner. Yeah. It didn't. It's happening now. Let's take that and explode it. He also went to talk about Netflix's Regency era hit Bridgerton, saying that he is brought to tears by seeing such a diverse cast. He said, I'm part of that generation. Who I am was possible. When I went to drama school, there were only 3 archetypes for Black men. This is not just about being gay. This is about straight Black men as well. There were only 3 archetypes: James Earl Jones, the patriarch, Denzel Washington, the sex symbol, and Eddie Murphy, the genius clown. There were no others. There's been so much growth. I mean, I turn on Bridgerton and I just weep. I went to drama school. I learned the classics. And when I was there, I was like, for what? In dialect class, I got an A+ in High British. For what? Seeing Black actors such as Ajoa Ando, Reggie Jean Page, and Golda Rishuval, I think that's how you say her name, plus queer representation from characters such as Benedict in Bridgerton really takes my breath away. When I sit in that space of positivity and hope, when we all do, it's infectious and it builds on itself. Baby, trust me, I can get in a spiral of woe was me, but I always try to remember, choose joy, choose hope, choose the positive. So I guess with all that being said, this takes us into, where how far we've come as people of color, and especially queer people of color. This, I guess, brings us the update on his James Baldwin biopic, which if y'all been paying attention to the show, you already know I'm not 110% behind with him being a part of it, because I'm going to bring up the receipt of why what him being a part of this has rubbed me the wrong way. So, it says actor and Brighton Pride headliner Billy Porter has provided an update on his biopic of James Baldwin on what could have been the U.S. writer and queer civil rights activist's 100th birthday. It was announced last year that the singer Porter, who is currently only an Oscar away from becoming an EGOT, would co-write and star in a film based on David Adams Leaming's James Baldwin, a biography. Speaking exclusively to Pink News ahead of his performance at Brighton Pride on Saturday, the 3rd of August, Porter revealed that the script is now ready to move on to the next stage of production following the Hollywood strikes. My writing partner, Dan McCabe, and I turned in the script a couple of months ago, the 3rd draft, and it's in good shape to start shopping for financing. However, he hinted that getting the film off the ground won't be easy. The industry is really, really bad right now, post-strike. There's not a lot of stuff being greenlit. I read an article where just 40% of the industry is back. It's horrible. That's a failing grade. In Britain, more than half the country's TV and film workforce remains jobless in the wake of the fallout from the strike, according to a new survey by the Broadcasting and Entertainment Trade Union BECTU. Only 1 in 20 UK-based workers in the industry say they have seen a full recovery since the industrial action. Now, this week, it was revealed that Disney TV division will be axing around 140 jobs, roughly 2%, ahead of its staff. Despite the industry's rough patch, Porter remained steadfast in his commitment to seeing the biopic make it to the screen. Saying, we're going to sell it, we're going to get it made. I don't have a real timeline on that right now, but the script is good if I say so myself, and that's where it starts. He acknowledged that not enough members of the public are aware of Baldwin's story. Clearly, neither are you, adding that they should be, and I'm delighted to be able to share it with the world. Baldwin was born on August 2nd, so today is his birthday, 1924, in Harlem, New York, and began gaining notoriety in his 20s for his literary work, and which soon included the 1950s novel, I should say, Go Tell It on the Mountain, Notes of a Native Son, and Giovanni's Room. His bibliography also included short stories, essay collections, plays, and poems. Now, it was through his writing that Baldwin became known as a prominent voice for social equality and a key figure in the 1960s civil rights movement. Notes of a Native Son and Giovanni's Room in particular became recognized both for depictions of fractured race relations in the US and Europe and for how they focused on gay and bisexual men, despite being published before the birth of the modern gay liberation movement. Baldwin died from stomach cancer in 1987 at the age of 63. Today, he is remembered as one of the most revolutionary writers in the 20th century, although he was in France at the time of his death, working on an unfinished manuscript. He is buried in New York. Well, I guess because that's his hometown. So they had to bring him home. Now, it also goes on to say Porter has long expressed interest in adapting Baldwin's life into a biopic, having quoted the writer at the Emmy Awards in 2019, where he made history as the first Black gay actor to win the lead acting role as his turn as Pray Tell in Pose. The announcement that Porter would be starting as the activist was met with a mixed response online, me being on the mixed side, with some Baldwin fans believing that the Broken Hearts Club actor wasn't the right fit. The star was quick to dismiss the criticism, saying on the Tamron Hall show, excuse me, I'm going to focus on the work. That's all I can do. People have been doubting me my whole life. This ain't nothing new. None of it is new. And they said that he's also going to go on after the Brighton Pride thing tomorrow. He's going to be performing over in the UK in October for his Black Mona Lisa tour. That's what he's got to do right now is work on the music because Hollywood ain't really giving people jobs. And it's unfortunate that this is where we are in this whole situation. But for those of y'all who need a reminder, remember he did an interview with The Guardian. And this is where I did in my last video where he pissed me off because it felt like this is some performative type thing that you're trying to jump on this whole James Baldwin thing. Are you really a James Baldwin fan? Or is this some performative mess because you are the O away from an EGOT? You already got the Emmy. You already got the Grammy. You already got the Tony. So now you need the Oscar. And to me, it feels like you trying to do this whole thing because normally quiet as it's kept. You know, whenever straight people come along and they play gay characters, they automatically are given an Oscar. But with him, he's going to play up all the bells and whistles. He's going to do his little therapy, you know, his acting school shtick, BAFTA University, all that mess. And, you know, think he's going to get the Oscar. So it feels very performative. And I think that's what people are irritated about with him and why they don't trust him with this stuff. So I'm going to read y'all what it was said. Because it says, in his early 30s, a period of his career when the work dried up, he took a screenwriting course at the University of California in Los Angeles. Now he's putting those skills to work, co-writing a biopic based on the life of the revolutionary writer and activist James Baldwin, in which he will also star. His motivation is simple. If not me, who? I've been sitting around waiting for people to tell the Langston Hughes story, the James Baldwin story, anyone Black and queer. As far as I'm concerned, I'm done waiting. I'll do it myself. The audacity, right? He says, who's going to tell it better than the Black gay man who embodies that in today's age? It's such an important story to tell, and I feel so blessed to be in a time where it will get told. But this is the part where I think a lot of people got mad. So, because they were talking about the whole thing about him and the whole Israel-Gaza thing. And you already know that if you read up on the history of James Baldwin, he was always for the Palestinian people. Because this whole thing with Israel and Palestine has been going on long before October 7th. And he goes, "Thank you. See, I didn't know. I don't even know. All I know is that the extremists came in and did something that was horrific, and then they retaliated. Now the retaliation is a little overkill. Now, doll, but what? Why are we at war at all? That's not just about them. That's everywhere. We're always at war. It breaks my heart. I don't know what to say, and I don't know what to do other than hug you and say I'm sorry. And what can we do to fix it? I'm in support of peace. Fucking peace." At this point, Porter is the most worked up he's been through our conversation. But in a split second, he's composed himself. There's nothing to navigate. And this is the part where they highlighted it on the post. Maybe I should show y'all that. He said, "I'm not James Baldwin. He's a character, so I have to be true to the character. I don't know what he was talking about in the 40s, 50s, 60s. It's 2024 now. I don't have the history to even know what the version of the Israel-Palestine conflict was when he was around. It's not a part of the script. His civil rights work in America is what we're focused on more than what he thought about the crisis in the Middle East." Well, here's the thing, sir. If you're going to sit up here and do James Baldwin, you can't just only present the faggotry part of him and the fact that he wrote books and things of that nature. You have to embody all the aspects of James Baldwin. Like, what are you talking about? It just seems like to me, like you're not taking this seriously. You're saying you don't know anything about James, so you could sit out here and quote him, like a lot of y'all be quoting the Bible, but don't really know what the book be saying. But y'all know certain quotes, and y'all just run around here with it. And now you want to use this as a way for you to get your Oscar. And that's the way it feels. I think for a lot of people, they feel like Billy Porter is disingenuous, that it doesn't feel like it's coming from a real place. We want to tell an actual story about a Black queer person. And to me, we want those stories. I want so many of the other stories of, like, I want stories on Elin Harris. I want stories on James Baldwin. You know what? I've always said that I would love to see Coleman Domingo play James Baldwin. I can't see Billy Porter playing him. But then again, I know some people be like, well, damn, Coleman just played a civil rights leader, Bayard Rustin. But I'm like, and David Oyelowo's played numerous civil rights leaders. We ain't complaining about that. We've had many Black actors who have played a multitude of civil rights leaders. So if he could play Bayard Rustin, why he can't play the other one? Why he can't play James Baldwin? I know Billy Porter wants to be, it just feels to me more like an ego thing. It comes from a place of ego rather than really wanting to be out here and representing, you know, the community and really getting authentic stories featuring Black queer people at the helm and getting those stories told. So that's where I am on this. But I ask all of y'all, what do y'all think of this story? Are y'all buying? I mean, are y'all really looking forward to this whole Billy Baldwin? Billy Baldwin. Billy Baldwin is Alec Baldwin brother, but Billy Porter's James Baldwin biopic. Are y'all here for this whole situation? Let me know what you guys think in this, or should they just cast somebody else? I'm going with cast somebody else, but let me know in the comments down below.